Okay, so this exercise is all about understanding breaking down drawings, but focusing on more arcs, circles, radiuses, and building that around a construction setup that you're comfortable with. So like other drawings, we've tried to move and manipulate the start point to the location of 0, 0, and this is exactly the same. So traditionally, we've had a set kind of point, so you might want to say that your set 0, 0 could be this corner down here. Other drawings, I've manipulated the 0, 0 to the center of a larger element, like a radius. You could actually have the center point in the corner. Okay, you could then half your shape, work one side, mirror across onto the other. So it kind of doesn't really matter what you do in terms of manipulating the drawing to make it work for you. The only point I would suggest on this one is that there is already a set point at 0, 0. And the reason why there's a set point is this dimension here. Okay, right at the top were these two circles, which is R15 and R9. They intersect on another shape element. Apart from that, everything else is relative to the rectangle. So I'm going to treat my 0, 0 exactly the same as what the drawing suggests. I'm going to start off in this corner here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw a construction line to this point, which will give me the location of 50, 0. Remember, 50 is x, y is 0. And that's exactly what I'm going to start my drawing from. So you can start a new drawing. My drawing's going to load in. I'm going to come into the drawing layer. I'm going to do exactly what I've just said, is start with a line from that tool. So line 0, 0. And I'm going to go to 50, y 0. And then escape. So that should... Oh, I didn't actually do it then. 9, 6, there we get another practice. 0, 0, 50, 0. There we go. Not sure why that was playing sillies. So that one's going to be that one. I'm just going to change the construction. So I know that that's going to be my base construction point that I need to move there. Next then, I'm going to have to start with where am I going to head my drawing to. So if you break down this drawing, there's actually a rectangle which sort of sits in this area. So it starts from this 0, 0 that we've now made. It goes all the way up to this set point here, which is going to be a 150, but only relative to that coordinate there. It's not relative back to 0, 0. So moving in what we call an incremental feature. So rack. Now, I'm not going to put 0, 0. I'm going to put 50, 0. Now, as I move my mouse, this is going to make an incremental move. So I'm going to put 100, 50. That'll move that then 150. Now, just to double check, if I go a linear command, if I go from 0, 0, this should be 150. Which it is. So just to double check that that was an incremental change. So that's 150. If I move it the other way, it's 50. Like exactly what my code says. So I've done a quick check to verify that's exactly what I need. So I've got that kind of red area in. And then what that does is it sets me up nicely because I now have a center point for those circles and I've got a center point for this circle. So I can now start to build my elements. So it's a two-part shape, so I'm going to do 15 and 25. So CI circle. I'm going to specify the center points at the top bit of my rectangle. Drag out 25 radius. Repeat the command with space. 15 in there. Now I don't think I've snapped that on correctly. I noticed it quickly, just to move it back onto the point. If you've got a sticky bit, or like I am because I'm recording, it's slightly laggy, it is important just to make sure you are double checking. C here to copy. Specify the base point, so I'm going to specify the base of the circles, and I'm going to move that across accordingly to the other side. This is copy rather than mirror because I find it's easier. Before I get too into it, I'm going to trim out all the bits I don't need. I try and go diagonal if there's a 2 because it just saves time clicking. So whatever you drive the shape through, it will edit that point. So that's those points there. So what I'm going to do is just going to pick up those bits there. So I'm just going to remove this just to make it nice and clear for you. So I've done all that work now to get this shape. So I've got my circles and my rectangle. What you should realise is this is also another 2 circles that's referenced around this point. Now this point is 35 up from the centre of the rectangle. Okay, so again, I'm just going to draw a line. Find the intersection point, drive it up. So hold shift to lock it to the axis, 90 degrees, 35. Because my mouse isn't very stable this evening, 35, tab 90. I'll lock that one in place. Now, again, that's a construction line, remember, it's not a physical drawing, so always get in the habit of moving it as quickly as you can. CI to put the circles in from that center point. Just push it out. So I've got 30, followed by space to reload. Push out again, 38. Accept that point. So now I'm going to get this kind of Mickey Mouse effect. So now I'm going to go into trim. Now a top tip here is as soon as you trim both sides, you get there and there. And this side over here. People then start to go around and then trim all the rest of it. If you trimmed, you made a cut, click on the rest of the shape you don't need, delete, click on that shape that you don't need, also delete. You don't have to worry about trimming everything out, like so. Last thing to then look at is then we got to do the 2 circles very top, which I'll highlight in blue. And this is all around a reference point that is off that arc, and that basically is 73 up. So again, going back to the drawing, I've just actually spotted that 35 is not locked on there, so I'll correct that in a second. I'll do it as one big move. So CI for circle, I should be able to latch on the quadrant. Put 15 in, redo that command. Push that out to 9. Again, just trim what you can get away with and delete the rest. Don't worry about trying to trim the whole lot. Like so. So you kind of notice that that 35 appeared to not be placed there. So what I'm going to do is shift it up. And then I'm going to latch that point and stretch it down onto this point. And then what I'm going to do is right click properties. Start Y0. So this will be 35. So I'll drop down to the right point, and then what I need to do is reassociate that one and that one. Okay, I can only do this one at a time, I think, by the looks of it, because they're both different. That one on there. So you can see it's a bit moved around slightly. So yes, I've re-edited that. You'll probably notice that some bits have moved. So what you can do is reassociate everything back up. Like that. So for me, I just have to move it around, relock centers, etc. So you can then associate and go around and retrim and manipulate that way as well. So last thing to do, there is then the lines that go from 45 out, so 45 up to predominantly the center point. Highlight over the circle, hit your centers, and then you can just trim them back. Like so. There we go. And I think So again, it's kind of watching that you don't run with multiple centers, because for me, it's the snap points have not kind of sat in the right place. So I have to do a bit of work to line everything back up. But there is the overall shape that if you remove the bits, you'd have exactly the same. So just go and now measure it, make sure everything's correct. Again, it's just being careful with snap points placements and make sure that you're happy.